Well, I was sitting up in bed reading the
Were you?
Citizen and scanning through it. My wife was fast asleep.
Yeah.
And I saw your name.
Oh, there now.
Yeah, yes.
yes.
Well, anyhow, feel free to come do a start if you want to bring a camera.
Oh, yes, we would like to.
Feel free.
Yes.
I tried to photograph snowdrops with the camera. I can't get them.
Okay.
I can't get them. You may be able to, but I can't get them anything like this in any way.
Yes, I think you're right.
Black and white and.
We're going. John and I are going to try and
colour.
Yeah.
But of course that.
Yeah. You can.
That was dug up and laid on a.
Well, it was against a black background somehow, wasn't it?
All our photographs were done by the man in Stroud, Barnes, Mr. Barnes.
Oh yeah.
Of the photographers near the clock. I can't quite think of the name.
No, I don't know too much about Stroud.
I used to put them in pots a couple of days before and arrange them as they were to be.
Yes.
And then go down with Mrs. Matthias and sit there with the light over them until they opened up and would show their markings and their leafage.
Yes.
And then when the time was right, he would take
He would take them just when they were just
He'd
open.
even wait. Sometimes when I said we're all right now, a train would come into Stroud Station, and he said we would wait till the vibration is gone. And I thought he was very good. This wasn't this. He didn't take this one.
No.
But he did all the all those.
Yeah.
You see, that is Straffan. No, then anything else?
Where is that be?
Well,
I don't think there was anything else I wanted.
Did you talk about all the visitors that came to the Hyde?
Well, over the 21 years, I mean, Evie Anderson was quite a visitor. Oliver Wyatt.
Tell me about E.B. Anderson.
Well,
is there anything?
E.B. Anderson, he's written a book.
Oh yes.
He was mainly rock plants and bulbs. Now, he brought a snowdrop called Tubby Merlin. It's much like Merlin, but he grows shorter. Now, where he got it from, I don't know, and I don't think he did.
But he called it
Tubby Merlin.
Tubby Merlin.
Tubby Merlin, and you'll see it eventually. I haven't got many left now. I gave several away last year, but Mrs. Warburger's got a lot. And
he named it. Did he then? He named it Tubby Merlin.
Yes, he named it Tubby Merlin.
Yeah.
And he also brought John Gray to us at Hyde, which is a marvellous snowdrop. Comes early. It's just poking its nose out now. Okay?
Yeah.
I haven't got many left this year because several people wanted one or two last year, and they got them. But I have been reduced to what I called half a one.
Oh gosh.
I got down with my John Gray. They got botrytis, and I dug them up, and there was only half a bulb, a side bulb, off the others that was any good.
Oh dear.
And I planted that out here, and from that I must have taken 20 bulbs since. So you see, and I've distributed them around because if you lose them, you know you can go to your friends and get them back.
That's it.
Well, he brought John Gray. He brought Mighty Atom.
Did he?
Which is another large
Did he name that one?
No, they're named after Mr. Gray from Colchester. Not confusing the Gray from down in Cornwall, who done all the miniature daffodils.
Oh yes.
There's a man named Gray. He used to exhibit at the RHS same time as we did, and I used to go and look at them all in rows, little daffodils and things. But Mr. Gray of Colchester he introduced Mighty Atom and the one they called John Gray, and the two marvellous snowdrops. I think John Gray is the best, most beautiful snowdrop. It's not that tall, but it's enormous. Mighty Atom is bigger still, but I don't think it's quite such a fine snowdrop. But yeah.
But this little tubby Merlin that E.B. Anderson brought to you, there are still some...
Oh yes,
You know,
there
we've
are
still
about,
got some,
yes.
yeah.
They're about now. There's quite a lot about, because Mr. Nutt has had it. Quite a few of them people have got it, and we'll find out during the season. I think it must be at Mrs. Birchall's, and it could be at Mrs. Elvis's. But as Mrs. Elvis has only just started, just I think the last 2 seasons, she's well behind
Yes.
Mrs. Biddulph and Mrs. Birchall in their collections, you see. But Mrs. Elvis perhaps is going to be the best one of the 3 to identify anything.
She's knowledgeable, is she?
Well, she is. She seems to have got it together. Mrs. Birchall's very good. Mrs. Biddulph is, well, I didn't perhaps want to say it. She loves the Snowdrops, but she wants me to go and name them every year.
Yes, yeah.
You see, she has enormous big labels, and then she changes. Somehow they get changed round,
Oh dear.
and you have to try and put them right for her. You see, it's a difficult job sometimes.
I should think so.
It is. Now, anyone else we can think of?
Okay.
Well,
No.
yes.
That's
That's
and
a photograph of a painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. There's ways and means.
Has anybody photographed all these in colour at all? I mean,
Well, no. Not photographed in colour, they've been painted in colour. He painted quite a few in colour. Isn't there one here of
Yes, I think there is towards the middle. Yeah.
of Olga?
even Mr. Nutt hasn't photographed.
No, he does black and white photographs, and I've got lots of photos. See, now there is Olga.
Yeah. That's when V.A. Bowles is painting, isn't it?
Yeah. That would be the right sort of background to try and photograph against, I think. Off-white.
Yes.
Well, would you get the petals off?
Well,
see, you've got to get it outlined.
We'd have
haven't
to,
you?
we'd
You've
have
got
to
get the
experiment with
outline.
it.
You see, what I showed you last time, which I haven't got here now, of mine, the petals have to be lined out before you can get a colour.
well, this is against the black background.
I think that's too. You get too much contrast with that. You
I
don't
think
get
so.
any shading. You don't get any. It's too much of a contrast,
Well,
isn't
I
it?
would
Yeah,
have
with
thought so.
against
You've got
a
no
black
colour.
background.
You've just got black and white.
That's right. Absolutely. You've got no tones.
No,
That's
got
the
no
word
tone.
I was trying to
The
look for.
only thing is, in a catalogue, you've got to have what I called faultless distinctions.
Yes.
Whereas if you look at them, you've got to see the markings and the habit of it
That's right.
without the colour.
That's right. Yes, you've got to be able to see the form of the thing.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
From 2 or 3 angles, you
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
You see a good many snowdrops. You will see photographed. That's what you brought me back, isn't it? That one.
Yes, that's the one you lent.
Do you think we've done enough? We've got to switch that off, or do you still want to hear a bit more?
No,
Well,
I
you
think,
just...
well, it's entirely up to you.
I didn't give you one of these, but I always refer to them as inner petals and outer petals,
Yes.
which I think perhaps the same. And that brings us to the question of snowflakes.
Yes,
Now,
we've not talked
do
about
you
those
know
at
the
all.
difference between a snowflake and a snowdrop?
Not
Yeah,
not the
flowering-
botanical.
No,
well, no,
well-
I don't because
Yes. Well, the first thing to say, they each have 6 petals, but a snowdrop has 3 outer and 3 inner, and a snowflake has 6 outer petals and no inner. You see, they're all under one bell.
Yeah.
yes.
See,
You
That's
see,
the
I
thing.
always thought the difference was snowflakes were taller than snowdrops, but that doesn't apply at all. Now I know a bit more about
Well,
them.
they vary there again.
Yeah.
The snowflakes are tall, and
Yeah.
the May one is the tallest. That's
Yeah.
to be rated, yeah.
But then again, I mean, when I looked at the one that you had there in the pot for us, I thought, good gracious,
Yes,
that can't be a
yes,
snowdrop because
yes.
it's too tall.
It's generally the same flowering season, though, is it?
Snowflakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vernum is first, Then they begin to
It's a
poke the
Springer.
nose out, you see. There's Vernum, and then there's Wagneri, which has 2. There's Carpathicum, which grows under here, that has yellow tipped green. Wagneri is a mixture, sometimes
But I mean, generally the same flowering season as Snowdrop.
Oh yes, generally, yes. Now that's Arnott at his best. Now you see, even that has got 2.
Yes.
It doesn't. So that doesn't do it as well as Strafford, you see.
No.
And they do remain small.
They don't grow up at the
They'll
the
get
same
up
height
there, but
as-
they will be finished.
Yes,
Then.
yeah,
You see. But
yeah.
that is Arnott, as you like by the other one.
I like this. I like this one.
Cool.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, there you go, yes. It's a Gloucester.
Now this I'll talk to you about kitten.
Oh yeah.
There is large and small kitten,
Yes.
as I originally had it years ago.
You say the small one's been lost.
I've lost one. I hunted for it at Hyde, where I planted it. It's not
What a shame.
there.
It's a shame. And
It's
you
a
hadn't-
small placatus,
Yeah.
where large kitten is a novalis.
Oh.
And I brought the question up many a time.
Yeah.
Why are they different? The only answer I ever get is, which perhaps is true, they came from Ketton, placed in Northampton.
Yes.
You know of Ketton cement? You've heard of
Yeah.
Ketton?
The-
You know Blue Circle cement?
Yes, yes.
Ketton.
Well, there's Ketton cement. And
The name's familiar.
yeah, Ketton is that's where they originate from, and it's one that I had from Mr. Bowles years ago. And it's curious.
What a
I
shame
used to
you've lost
start
this one.
selling when I had got 7.
As few as
I
that.
could see it. I could sell 3, and I always had a list of collectors who would buy, but I never reduced it any lower. You see, when I got to 7, I always thought, well, I've got to keep the interest going. They'll perhaps take a couple of dozen Arnotts and 1 kitten. You
Yeah.
see, and Coolsburn, which was there, we used to sell for 10 and 6. I don't know, 7 and 6 or 10 and 6, which was a tremendous amount of money, really.
Yeah.
In those
Oh,
days.
per bulb.
Per bulb.
Yeah.
That's the snowdrop. Like snowdrops remind me of when I was a girl. You know, when I was younger, my grandmother
Yes.
used to grow snowdrops, and they always looked a bit like Colesborn.
Yes. Now
But I thought they were just
that's
Natalis.
Viridapesus. That is the other one that is like Shalocki, except it does not split its spathe. It curls
Just
over.
curls over. Yeah.
Now the other one, where you've got 2 there, one with the spathe standing upright, that is called weary eye. It will grow with the spathe keeping upright all the time.
So that's 2 different.
Well, you get it amongst viridapeses growing like that, and you can isolate them.
Yeah.
The difference is you sell one for more than the other.
Ah.
You see,
So this doesn't come out and drop down then.
the
That
flower
is-
will drop down.
The flower will, but the
but
spathe will stay
will,
up
will remain up.
and not curl over.
It
like
might,
that.
towards the end of its season, just turn a little. Mrs. Bidoff,
Well, I know.
Mrs. Bidoff has got some marvellous ones. Well, I've got a few of them here. Weary Eye. I got on to her and said, "Where did you get them from?" And she says, "Well, always very hazy. I got them from Hyde." And I said, "But we never had many at Hyde." There, how did you manage? Well, she said they used to give me a few when she went down after we'd left. She knew the people there.
Oh yeah.
They'd give her all kinds of things, and she grew there. But this weary eye that she got there's the best of form
Is
one
it?
I've ever seen.
Very nice.
We didn't have very many of them. There isn't really much to come onto Lycoium on the snowflakes. I think we'd better leave that for another session.
Oh,
yes,
yes,
indeed. Yeah, I meant
yes.
that. I meant that.
Yeah.
Yes, perhaps we'd have a session when they're more or less nearly in bloom,
Yes.
or something like that, and then you can. Have
You used to
some-
sell
That's
them in
right.
Hyde, then?
Oh yes, oh yes. I used to sell Lycoium. Mr. Wyatt, Oliver Wyatt, brought me 200 Carpathicum one year when he was around that way, of the yellow tip ones. He said, "That's the real one, and that's what I've got left here, some of that stock." There again, they have to be dug up and planted around, otherwise they get tired and so on. The other Astivium grave-time giant, I used to have come from Ireland. and that's where the source of it is, at Gravetie in Ireland.
Oh, is Gravetie in Ireland? I didn't realise that.
Yes, I think so.
That was
yes.
William Robinson's garden.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Gravetie Garden, that's where that was first introduced.
I didn't realise that was in Ireland.
Yes. Terburgen used to supply us as well. Whether he got them from there, he used to supply us, as well as we supplied him with Snowdrops, you see. But he used to supply us with the Gravetie Giant as well.
Oh, I didn't mean to get you into Leucodium.
We'll save that, we'll save that for another day.
Yes. Well, anyhow, come and have a look at the
we'd like
Stachyurus.
to.
We'll take off Snowdrops a bit. And
Now, these are my little
So you think
catalogues, aren't they, these ones?
So you think sometime you'll be able to make a list of everything that was at the Hyde?
well, you Snowdrops.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Although all we grew, I will endeavour to make a complete list.
And what you've got here?
And yes,
Then
during
you
the
could
season,
just
I'll
write.
try
Awful lot
and
of work we're letting you in for, isn't it?
Well, I don't mind it. I mean, I can talk about Snowdrops all day long. My wife will say, she says to me, well, what are the people coming for today? What does it talk about? So, well, you talked about that the other week. Well, I said, we still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you could go
But
on
mind
forever.
you, I will say this. My wife and my children, if it hadn't been for them and Mrs. Matthias, we couldn't have gone on with it.
No.
My children and my eldest daughter was a great asset to it. I mean, I told her I bought a typewriter so that she could get on with the type and help Miss Matthias. You see, with it. And it was so fascinating to me. And my wife come in with all the drudgery of packing up and one thing and another. And if we were away, she'd come in for letting in for looking after the greenhouse and the rest of things. And she always used to complain, says, you know, I never go to the RHS. Well, I said, I'll take you one day when we're finished. Well, I took her, and we sat there and looked at things, and then I went and had a talk with one or two who were exhibiting Snowdrops and that. And she got a general idea of what it used to be like.
Yeah.
That's something else we haven't talked about, the RHS shows.
RHS
No, we
shows.
haven't.
No,
No, we'll stop. Just let me make sure that I've got.
You've got all you should have.
Well, yeah, I don't want to take anything that I
Well,
shouldn't.
you won't be taking. Is this one yours? Have you got
Yeah, I
Alanai?
think- No, I haven't got that one. That's one of the other ones you gave me, wasn't it? I think I brought that.